his computer. So, good afternoon, and thank you so much for coming to Lunch and Learn. It is utterly gorgeous to see you here, and even better to have Kelly Cookson. I know this is going to be a really popular one, all about how you can grow your business through email marketing. And I know a lot of us are trying to slide away from social media, so this is coming at a really important time. Just to remind you that with all Freelance Mum Lunch and Learns, I'll let people in so that Kelly, you can concentrate on doing your thing. um, we mean it when we say lunch and learn. If you literally want to turn your camera off and tuck into your lunch, please do. That's absolutely fine. If you're like me and keeping your camera on helps keep you accountable, please do that. I know that if I turn my camera off, my brain will just go wandering. It's also very, very lovely for people like Kelly to see your face as well. So even if you're turning your camera off and you're having a sandwich or whatever it is that you're doing, perhaps just give us a little wave at the end because it's always nice to feel that there is actually human beings watching you say what you have to say. I'm going to hand over now to Kelly because, quite frankly, she's the expert on this subject and you want to hear from her and you don't want to hear from me. So, Kelly, over to you, and thank you so much for making time for us today.
You're welcome. Thanks, Faye. Right, I've got some slides, so I'm going to share my screen and get those all going, and then I'll tell you a little bit about me. Have the slides come up, Faye? You can see them okay.
Looking good. You've got it. You haven't got it in presenter mode yet,
Do
though.
that now. Your face was just over the button. There we
Ah,
go. All good?
good.
Cool. Okay, so hello, everyone. This is how to generate leads and sales with email marketing. So it's very much does what it says on the tin. I'm going to share some practical things with you. But first of all, just let me know in the chat what your businesses are. I know Naomi's business because I know Naomi. It's nice to see a familiar face on here. Hello, hello. But yeah, pop in the chat what your business is, and then I can tailor some of this to the businesses that are in the Zoom room. But first, a little bit about me. If we've not met before, hello. My name is Kelly Cookson, and my business is called Cheer Up Marketing. And this is just a little bit of why I'm qualified to talk to you about email marketing today. I haven't just made it up. I've actually got a first class business degree where I specialize in marketing, and I've been doing marketing for 16 years and emails since 2008, which feels like a long time ago. So a lot's changed in the last 16 years of marketing, but emails kind of stayed a constant, which is why I like it because social media changes all of the time. And it feels like there's always some new trend or something that we've got to learn. And I haven't got time for it. So with email marketing, I feel like it's one of the ways that we can do more with less time in our businesses when we are busy. And all of us here are obviously parents as well. So there's added time pressure for sure. So I'm running this business for 6 years now. I started it just before coronavirus because I didn't know that was coming when my daughter was almost 3. So I spent the first part of my business potty training a toddler in lockdown and trying to service all my clients. So it was tricky, but 6 years later, I'm still here. And these days, I'm also an entrepreneur in residence at the University of Nottingham, where I mentor student and alumni businesses on their marketing and so on. And my daughter's now turned 9, so I can't believe it. She's so big now, really tall. Email marketing, 70% of my clients come from my email list. So I am on social media. You can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. But email is where it's at, ladies, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I work mainly with service providers who want to use email strategies to make more money at the end of the day and do it using smart email campaigns. So I'm just going to check the chat and see what you all do. Twice in 1 week, Naomi. When did I see you the other day? Was that on I don't even know what I've done. It's Wednesday. Uh, Emma works with scientific societies and organise their conferences. Okay, cool. Website design, home organizer, travel business, mindful cookery, nutrition cookery coach. Okay, cool. There's a nice mix then. Counselor and coach. Oh, my other workshop. Oh yeah, I did it on Monday, didn't I? Honestly, I can't remember what I've done when the weeks fly by. And then we've got parent coach counselor. Okay, so you're all service based. That's good. That's good. Okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know what you all do. So that's a bit about me. And I am email's #1 fan because of the reasons I've just mentioned about being busy and running my business. It's just me. I've got a virtual assistant, but I'm a one-woman band. So I really need my marketing to be efficient. And email helps with that because you just get more people to see your email than the equivalent content on social media. So I'm going to show you how to work your email list for maximum leads and sales and create emails that people like to read. Um, yeah, there's a bit of a challenge these days with AI content, but the way I teach email marketing and use it for myself is very much writing in your own tone of voice and sounding like yourself. So also let me know in the chat if you have an email list, yes or no. So again, I know where you're at. That would be helpful for me. Now, email, it does take a bit of time because you've got to grow a list and stick with it and be consistent. But time for money wise, it is much more efficient than social media, I promise you. And because we're talking about getting leads and sales from email, just want to say there's no like used car salesman vibes in this. We're not trying to trick anyone to buying anything or teaching stuff that feels icky. Like all of this is about building genuine connections with your audience and getting them to see how that you can help them. So let's just check the chat and see if you've got a list. Yes, 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 but it's tiny. That's okay. My list isn't massive. I clean it quite regularly, so it's very engaged. Yes, yes. Email lists for the client, said Emma. Okay, but not one for yourself? Okay, cool. That's good. So, Emma, we haven't got any complete beginners then. Well, Jamie's not sent an email before Christmas. We're going to get to that when we talk about cleaning the list. So hold on, hold on. I've got some tips for you. All right. So it sounds like you've all got an email list going on, which is good. Um, so I'll just give you my quick spiel about why I think you need to get serious about your email marketing. If you run a business and you want it to be running next year and in future years to come, I believe you can't do it without an email list because you are at some point in your business going to need that direct line to your potential customers. And just trying to rely on, I don't know, social media or a WhatsApp group or something like that isn't the most efficient or reliable way to get in touch with people. Now, I'm sure we all know somebody who's had their social media account hacked and they've lost all their followers. Anyone here ever had that happen to them? I mean, touch wood, it hasn't happened to me, but if it did, most of my people are on my email list, so I can get in touch with folks that way, and my business wouldn't dry up in terms of leads and sales. Now, with email, you own your subscribers, so you do not own your followers on social media. The Meta or whoever running the social channel, they own your followers and they control how often those followers will see your messages. And you cannot download those followers. That's not your data. But your email list is your data, so you can save it as a spreadsheet if you want to. You can send emails as often as you want. It's your data, you own it. And actually, if you were to sell your business and you said, well, I've got an email list of 20,000, that is a business asset that has value. But the same is not said for social media followers. It isn't valued the same. So you can do email marketing for free. It sounds like you've all got a list already, so you've got some tech set up, but there's no, financial barrier really in front of email marketing. You can settle with the free providers. And a good thing about emails that I love that people often overlook is the fact that you can segment your list and personalize content. So, for example, if you had, we can use Naomi as an example actually with sleep consulting. She might have a service for newborns and then a service for toddlers. So, if you can figure out the ages of your subscribers' children, then you can segment and do offers for the newborns and offers for the toddlers. It's slightly different. Whereas on social media, you've just got to press post and it goes out to everybody, unless, of course, you're running ads and you can target people a little bit more that way, but you have to pay for that privilege. It's a really nice nurturing tool. Did anyone here ever have pen pals in the 90s? Like I did. I'm a real phase nodding. Yeah, I had like dozens of them all over the world. So I do like writing letters and things. So I treat my list a little bit like that, where I share stuff there that I wouldn't necessarily post on socials. It feels a little bit more cozy, even though it's a one-to-many communication. So we send one email and it goes out to hundreds or thousands of people. It feels like one-to-one because it's landing in their inbox and they can read it and reply to you directly. It's also a really nice way to use it for market research. So if you are thinking about launching a new offer or a service, or you just want to know what your email list, your audience is struggling with right now, then you can send an email and ask them some questions that way or link out to a survey. I think it's a really nice tool for you to use that way as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Email is awesome and it can be free to use. It's a great way to nurture and reach people without having to spend money on ads or trying to beat the algorithm or figure out what the hell Instagram wants us to do next. Has anybody got Instagram Instants? I have now got that where you just take a photo and it looks rough, but you can't edit it. So you just click and it hits send and it goes. Yeah, so who knows what's next with that. But email, like I said, it's been pretty steady for the whole time that I've been doing it. So yeah, it's one of those that you need in your business. And I think you're future-proofing your marketing when you've got that list set up and you know that you can send out offers and you can get people to click, you can get them to book calls, you can get them to buy your thing. It's a really important tool to have. All right, so there's three things I'm going to show you today, and you'll need to take notes because it's quite practical, hopefully. I put these things in place for myself in my business and for my clients to make email bring in those leads and sales. So this is what you're going to need if you want to get clients coming in from your email list. So the first thing that you're going to need is a plan. Now, I know planning, some people love it, some people hate it. I like to plan, but I can tend to procrastinate plan a little bit. So I have to be really, really strict with myself and just go for like the minimum viable plan that I need for my business. So to generate leads with email marketing, you're going to need a content marketing plan. Now, content marketing planning is one of those things where you can create something that looks beautiful and there's loads of stuff on it. And then when you sit down to do it, you realize you just don't have the time and it's not going to happen. So that's not what I'm saying you need to do. What we do need to do is at least plan ahead for what we want to write about and why. And the next slide will just give you a bit more direction on that. So if you are trying to write consistent emails, so the person who said they hadn't emailed since before Christmas, this is probably you. You're going to need a plan. But if you sit down without a plan, you've got that awful feeling of, oh gosh, what am I going to write about? That makes it really difficult to write consistent emails. So a plan is essential for that. If you don't have a plan, then maybe the content that you're going to write or the stories that you'll share are not as strategic, maybe. So you send out an email, it's a bit blah, or it doesn't really have a marketing objective behind it, and then it doesn't work as well as it should be. And then if you haven't planned ahead, it can be really hard to get engagement because what you don't want to be doing is sitting down on the fly and like sending something out and then it's not your best work, so no one replies or people don't click, and then it looks like email doesn't work. And you go, Kelly, email marketing's rubbish. No one replies or clicks or does anything to my emails. Well, that's because you haven't got a plan, Stan, and we need to figure out what needs to go on the plan and why. The other downside of not having a bit of a think about what you're sending and why is that you can accidentally go off on tangents with your content and move people away from buying if you start talking about stuff that actually isn't leading into any of your offers or warming your audience up ready to buy. So it's really important just to have a simple plan. So your plan, it needs to include these three things. Number one is content pillars, which is marketing speak for the topics you talk about on repeat. And those topics need to be educating your audience on why they should eventually invest their time, money, and energy in working with you or buying one of your offers or your products. So, content pillars, I tend to advise clients to have between three and five. Like five is quite a lot. Any more than that, and you're definitely trying to spread yourself too thin with things that you're going to talk about. So, as an example, one of my content pillars is some of the stuff I've just been talking to you about. It's why you need an email list over social media. Because if somebody, a service provider in my audience just believes that they can grow their business on social media, don't care about email marketing, they don't understand why it's valuable, that they're never going to come and pay me to work on their email marketing, right? So I need to have a pillar that's all around educational on why email's so great and why you should maybe invest more time in that than putting all your eggs in the social media basket. So there will be things that you talk about already, probably, that are helping your audience, your ideal clients, to understand the value of the work that you do. So content pillars need to educate and they need to cover things from you think about the buyer's journey where people might just be Googling, like, I'm going to use Naomi as an example again, how to get my 5-day-old to sleep through the night. They are at the beginning of the buyer's journey, maybe, but people who are further along might be Googling, I need a sleep consultant. So actually looking for a solution or a service provider. So your content needs to cover people who are at the very beginning of just searching for help around the problem that they have or the goal that they want to achieve, and the people who are further along who are actually sort of ready to buy, maybe comparing services, that kind of thing. So content pillars, three to five. And then when you are thinking about what shall I write in my email this week and next week and next week and next month, we need to be thinking about spreading the content, the things that we talk about on repeat so that our ideal clients eventually read it for the 10th time and go, yes, Kelly's right, I'm going to start an email list. We've got a nice spread of content across all of those pillars. Now, your plan also needs to look ahead. So I don't know about you, but one of the things I'm really guilty of is thinking that I have more time than I do to actually create loads of things and do loads of marketing and serve loads of clients and all of this stuff. And it's only when I actually come to look at my calendar and I go, that's not going to happen in that time. So looking ahead in terms of what you want to sell and when, and working backwards from your sales goals or times in your calendar when you might be actively promoting or actively selling. And then actually thinking about the emails that you need to send in advance of that sell or that pitch or asking people to buy from you means that you have then enough time, hopefully, in your week, in your month, to do the warming up and go through some of those content pillars that I've just talked about. So with my marketing, I tend to go in kind of a flow of I'll do some nurturing content email, so a little bit about me and some tips and tricks, like value content, I guess you call it. And then I will move into sales mode. So asking potential clients to take the next step towards working with me, which could be to book a call or reply to my email for details on how I can help them. Or I run an email marketing membership called The Spark, which that call to action is to click through and visit the sales page. So, in advance of asking people to take that next step, I'll be looking at my content plan, and I normally do it in months. So, looking ahead for June, I'll have it like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. If I'm selling something in week 3, weeks 1 and 2, then I probably want to be cycling through some nurturing content. And what this aims to do then is give you some clear priorities because, as I said, if you are trying to do everything all the time, what you actually end up doing is not a very good job of promoting the thing or warming your audience up. So, by mapping stuff out ahead of time as much as you can in terms of what you want to sell and when and why, that really helps with narrowing down what it is that you need to write about and you talk about in your emails. Another thing that I have to look at, and I wonder probably some of you do as well, is school holidays because a lot of my ideal clients will be taking time off, especially next week. Because have you seen the weather forecast? Like I am fake tanning tomorrow because I'm so dry. So tomorrow is like fake tan day for me, and then Friday, I'm doing a bit of work, but Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm out there. So, I wouldn't be sending any sales emails on a sunny bank holiday weekend. I mean, that never happens, does it? So I'm very excited about it. So I wouldn't be emailing my list then. So we need to then think about, well, actually, when are my audience like likely to buy? Are they online even, or are they swanning off in the sunshine? So, it just helps to plan ahead. Okay, so let me know, those of you, you're all doing some email marketing, I think we said. So have you got a plan for your email marketing? It might be the same plan as what you're currently doing for social media or anywhere else you're creating content. If you've got a blog or podcast, let me know in the chat. Oh no, Emily got locked out of Facebook back in February. Did you get back in? And Katie lost 300 people to Facebook blocking her. Started again this year on email. Not my fave thing to do though. Do you know what? With the fave thing to do, so I do feel lucky in terms of marketing and content creation because I like sitting down to write and sometimes I like to make a bit of an event of it. Like I'll light a scent a candle and I'll make a really nice coffee where I grind the beans. And I'm like, oh, quiet. I can just write and like get my thoughts down. So honestly, that does help. If you can bookmark some time, like an hour, minimum an hour in your diary to sit down and actually write and get into flow, does help the experience. And another place I love to write from is Starbucks. So I'm normally in there with a cappuccino. If I buy a medium cappuccino, I find it's just the right size to really get stuck into writing a nice piece of content. All right, so no plans. No, 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 no. That's not good, guys, but you're going to have a plan after this session. Katie, yes, but lose the plan. Stick to seasons and build content around that. Yeah, whatever works in terms of the cycles or the seasons of your business or buying cycles that your audience go through. You need something that will fit with that. Emily says, only plan is to share when I have a free workshop coming up, needs to be clearer. Yeah, Emily, I do loads of free workshops. I think I've done 4 this year and we're only in May. So what I tend to do is, and I can give you a tip on timings of this, but if I'm running a free workshop, I'll normally do 7 to 10 days of promotion for that workshop. So when I'm looking at my content calendar, I'll have the date of the masterclass and then I'll work backwards for 10 days, like that day one of the 10 days will be when I start promoting it. And then the few weeks before that, I'd be definitely cycling through the content that would be attractive to the ideal client that I want to turn up to the masterclass. So that just helps me to make sure that when I run a masterclass, people actually register and they understand what it's about. And they're like, it makes sense that I'm running it because I've been talking about all the things that are then going to be covered in the masterclass for a few weeks, So every email, in fact, every piece of content really, should be moving your subscribers along the buyer's journey. So think about that stage where they're just trying to figure out, how to overcome the pain point maybe that they currently have, to then thinking, oh, I actually need expert help with this, to then comparing you to maybe some other service providers or other options, to then actually working with you. So you do need a plan and some objectives to make that happen. And all I mean by objectives is when you sit down to write the email, you just ask yourself, what am I writing about and why am I writing about that now? And that's when your content plan can really help. So, well, I'm writing about this now because next week I'm running a masterclass on this, and then I'm going to be selling my membership off the back of it. It's just an example from my business. Okay, so the second thing you need to get leads and sales from email marketing is to be consistent with the content, which I know consistent is one of those things where it's like, oh no, I've got to be consistent. It feels like a bind. Trust me, I work 20 hours a week, so I feel the pressure constantly to be consistent. But this is how you build the know, like, and trust factor. And it's really essential to lead generation because if you can imagine, if you're not consistent with your emails, and then you're like, well, I want to sell this thing that I'm doing, and you start sending sales emails, but you haven't done all the warming up beforehand, people don't like it and they'll unsubscribe and they definitely won't buy. So to get email to make sales for you, you have to be consistent. But the good news is by being consistent, one email a week. One email a week. How many social media posts do you need to be consistent? I mean, some people talk about daily, multiple times a day, 4 times a week. I don't know. It's a lot more output than doing one email a week. I like to send two, but that's because I'm, a bit of a pro with the email thing and I've got a very engaged list. So all I'm asking for you to do to start with is one email a week. And you can say, I'm consistent at email. Every Tuesday, my email goes out, and then that'll help you to make sales. So, a few more notes on why you need to be consistent as well as making money is with email, you have this thing called sender reputation. So, when you hit send on your email, so say for example, you're using MailChimp, you send it from MailChimp and it doesn't just go from MailChimp and then land in like my inbox if I was on your list. There's a little bit of back and forth between MailChimp and say Gmail and Yahoo Mail and Hotmail and Outlook, just to check that you are not about to ask people for their bank details or like try and scam money out of them. So there's a little bit of a back and forth before it goes, yep, Kelly's fine. I'm going to let her email land in the inbox. And consistency is one of those green ticks that your email provider will look for. So it's definitely bad if you haven't sent an email in a long time and then all of a sudden you hit send on an email to like 1,000 subscribers or something. It can be seen as like unusual activity and your email might go into spam. There are a bunch of other things, but consistency is one of those really that's up there with if you keep sending regularly and people open and click and some reply, that's good. You've got a good sender reputation and that means that your emails will keep landing in the inbox. I'm just going to check the chat because I saw it flashing at me a second ago. Oh, where's it gone? There it is. Ah, okay. There's always one. Katie's at one today. I'm glad you said this, Katie. I think it's because I hate reading emails. So I only send one a month. Don't want to bombard people. So you're not the only one. At least every workshop, there's someone that goes, I hate emails. Like, why would I want to send them? Like, I hate reading them. I hate reading bad emails. And like Emily says, there's a few that I don't unsubscribe from and enjoy reading. You want your email to be one of them. So whether or not you like reading emails, the fact is that near as damn it everybody on the planet has got an email address and checks their emails, right? So you need to be in there because your audience, your potential clients are picking up their phone normally when they wake up and they check their email. So you need to be in there. So you kind of have to get over your own hate email kind of thing. But what I'd encourage you to do is think about email as a service. So we can send content that's genuinely helpful, valuable, or entertaining. So sometimes for me, my marketing objective isn't to make a sale, it's just to help someone. Like, here's some tips, here's some stuff I know. I'm sharing this with you, like with love, like you one of my pen pals from the 90s, from Kelly. Here it is. I'm sending it. That's the vibe that I'm sending with my emails. And by doing that, then when I come to sell, I don't have thousands of people unsubscribe. Like people buy stuff. And that's great. I want them to buy my thing because my thing's really helpful and I believe in it. So if you come at it with that angle of, look, I'm going to share stuff that I know that's helpful, or, Faye, you're a good example of this. Like you're such one of those cheery, like personality type people that you can't fail to feel happy when you've had a chat with you. Like that's what I think about you. Like you're really like, whoa, like sunny. Your goal for your emails, it doesn't even need to be to educate people. It can be just to entertain them for 5 minutes while they sit down and have a cup of tea and check their inbox, right? Your email can be like a Faye-shaped ray of sunshine in their inbox.
Hmm.
It just needs to be personality. So we don't need to go in with like, oh, I've got to send this thing and like everyone's going to hate it. It's more like, how can I just like entertain someone for a minute while they read this or share something that's on my mind and I just wonder if it's on their mind as well. So that's why I encourage you to think about your emails in that way. Hopefully that helps. And I'm glad you said that, Katie. Yeah, okay, cool. You like that perspective. Yeah, it's in service, like selling as a service as well. Email marketing, the way I want it to be for everybody and I use it for myself is like it is a service. So consistency is vital because of visibility and reach. So the more emails you send, the more eyes you will get on your content because the more opens you will get. And I say this as someone who's been emailing every week for the last 6 years, and my unsubscribe rate is really low because of that consistency and because of the way that I write my emails. So I know that if I were to send one email and I post the same piece of content on social media because I tend to repurpose, maybe on Instagram, I don't know, posted something yesterday. I think maybe it's got 20 likes or maybe 600 views in the feed or something like that. But you know that those people haven't actually like read all of it. They've just skimmed past it, haven't they? Whereas I know if I put the same piece of email content out on email, I might get 50% of my list open it and look at that email versus I think it's about 10% of my followers on Instagram see the thing. So 50% of people seeing it versus 10%. That's why I always start with email because there's just more eyes on the thing. And then if you're only sending one email a month, then of course that's only 12 a year. So 12 opportunities for people to see your message and open that email. Whereas if you're sending once a week, then it's what, 52 times, 52 opportunities for people to open and read something from you. So the more emails you send and when you stick consistently with it, the more eyes you get on your message and your content. And that's what we all want, right? We're not writing stuff for the fun of it. We're not trying to educate nobody. We want people to read the stuff that we're putting the time and effort into. So being consistent with your emails will help just get more eyes on your message. The other reason that consistency is key is giving people time to know, like, and trust you. So you need time to nurture. And that speaks to my point of we're not just going to hit send on a sales email after not emailing for 6 months because no one's going to buy. People will get annoyed and unsubscribe. So we do need to factor in, well, if I want to sell something in July and I've got an email a week between now and then, so what, 5 or 6 weeks worth of emails, 5 or 6 emails, can I warm people up over those 6 occasions before I then sell? So that would be a better way to think about it than I want to sell something next week and I've not done any warming up. So just factor into your plan enough time to get that communication, that relationship going with your subscribers. Oh, I nearly hiccup then. So let me know in the chat, those of you who are emailing, how often are you emailing your list? And I think it was Jamie that confessed not emailing since Christmas. So anyone else? Anyone else missing their emails? Skipping one here or there? Plan was weekly, but less than that. So sometimes, Emily, let me know. Are you creating content anywhere else? Once every 6 weeks for Claire. Yeah, so that's not enough opportunities, I would say, with my 16 years marketing experience and sending thousands of emails for myself and my clients and the businesses that I've worked for. It's just not enough cadence for people to remember you because there are other emails landing in between in those 6 weeks, right? Maybe from other travel people as well. So you've got to be in there. But it's just not enough time or bandwidth of words to like warm people up to then want to purchase from you. Okay, so Emily's got LinkedIn, Instagram, and Substack, which is amazing amount of content creation. I never know what to cross post or repurpose. How about you save or look at the best performing piece of content across those three profiles, and you pick the best piece for your weekly email. So I presume you are posting more often than weekly across all of those three. There'll be multiple posts. So I'd look at the best thing and send that to my email list. I do it the other way around. I start with email first because I like writing the long form content. I guess Substack's long form, so maybe something like that. And then I repurpose that for social media. But it just as easily works the other way. If you're already in a flow with creating regularly somewhere else, pick the best of content for that and use that as your weekly email would be my recommendation. All right, let's get on to the exciting bit of actually making some money from our emails because that's what we want, as well as having a nice time writing to people and getting them to know, like, and trust us. So the more emails you send, as in more sales emails you send, the more sales you will make. So I say this because I've tested it, and because I'm good at nurturing and very consistent with my emails, when I do sell, I do have a very low unsubscribe rate. So I know sometimes the fear is, oh, if I start selling that, well, people might not buy or they'll unsubscribe. Not if you've done all the prep work and you've been consistently emailing your list. So you can safely go daily emails when you're selling, which is what I normally do. If I'm selling anywhere from like a 3-day sale to 7 to 10 days, if I'm live launching something, I send one email every day and either two or three on the last day of the sale as well. and my unsubscribes are really low and my sales are high. So what I wouldn't want to do is send day one sales email, panic because no one bought or one person bought, and then not send the rest of the sales emails. So if that's you or you're a bit nervous to send lots of emails, just know that we're coming at it from selling as a service again. And who has been in the middle of doing something or reading an email or gone to buy something and then the front doorbell's rang or the dog's been sick or something's happened and you've got, you have to deal with that thing and then you don't do the thing. So you need the email the next day to remind you, oh, yes, I wanted to buy that thing. So that's what I always think about. I'm like, well, someone might have picked up my inbox, my email, and then the Amazon man's knocked on the door, and I need to send the next email the next day to remind them of the deadline to buy. Anyway, so the other thing that you can do with sales emails, especially if you've got a small list, it's easier, is have a look at who's clicking because there'll be the same people like clicking on your stuff. Maybe they're not buying, maybe you want to do a little bit of like follow up or depending on what kind of service you're selling. But if I get a lot of people clicking and they're maybe not buying something like my membership, maybe it's because they want more high touch support from me. So I'll try and get a conversation to chat about doing some work together one to one. So you can get a little bit stalkerish with your sales emails. I mentioned this earlier, but just to remind you, we're not just going to show up and send a bunch of emails when we want to sell something because nobody likes that. Instead, we're going to use our look ahead, our plan, and our priorities to figure out when we are going to sell after we've nurtured our subscribers. And depending on how consistent you are with your email or how consistent you've been up till now, will inform how much nurturing you actually need to do. So think about in real life, I mean, email's real life, but what I mean is outside of email marketing, where have your clients come from? People that purchased your service or bought something off your website or wherever you're selling. If you don't know, ask them, but think about how long they were in your audience for before they actually converted into a paying client. So I know with my list, sometimes people have been on there for 2 years and then have come and become a client. Others, this is actually maybe not that helpful, but others have like joined the list last week and then buy something. So there's a bit of a difference, but I know generally what my average customer life cycle, like the timeline is from becoming a subscriber to buying something. So if you know that, or you know how that works outside of email marketing, so somebody has been following you on social media or subscribing to your Substack or whatever, and then they become a client, or you have a call and then they become a client, try and think around how long your clients need to get to know, like, and trust you before they would maybe be willing to get on a call with you, for example, if you use sales calls. Okay, so Jamie, this bit's for you with this whole list cleaning thing. So get ready. But what we need for sales from our list is a clean, engaged list. So if you've got a cold list, so you're sending to people that maybe the open rate's tanked or very low clicks, never getting replies, it's going to be really hard to get sales. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold that my daughter shared with me.
Kelly, while you have your big swig of water, I just want to say this is absolutely amazing. It's really good stuff. So
Oh,
thank you
good.
so much for this. Yes.
Thank you. Hmm. See, I always feel better after Faye speaks to me.
Feelings mutual. I'm on Kelly's email list and I love it. It's really
Oh,
good. Yeah, I love
I
it.
don't normally get a mid-masterclass pep talk. That was really nice. Thank you. Right, I'm better now. My wheeze is gone. So, three things that you'll need to make sure that your list is the kind of list that's going to convert to sales. Ideal client. So, I know we might have a goal of I just need 500 subscribers or 5,000 subscribers, and we might set a target, but it's no good getting 5,000 subscribers who are not your ideal clients. So, we need to be thinking carefully about how we're encouraging people onto our list and that they are the right people. Which brings me on to the middle thing around list building. So, something that you will need to make sure you are continually adding people to your list who are ideal clients is an incentive. So, that could be something like a lead magnet, which is, a freebie that people would hand over their name and email address to get on your list for free. And then you would send them something that's valuable to them. So, there's that. Or you can position your newsletter, I guess, much like you would on Substack. We're trying to get people to opt in and subscribe to that, create a value proposition for your newsletter email. So on my website, I say if you opt into my emails, then I will send you like marketing strategies and email marketing tips. I share behind the scenes in my business, something that sounds exciting, more exciting than I've just explained it there. But I have a value proposition for my newsletter so people know what they're going to get when they opt in. and they do subscribe via my website, not just via my free things that I put out there. So with your list and what you want to sell, you have to reverse engineer from your offers and the ideal client for that offer a lead magnet or a freebie or something to hook them in that's going to provide information that they are searching for or need help with, a sort of midpoint on that buyer's journey. So, how can you capture them, scoop them off social media, scoop them off Substack to get on your list with something attractive to them that then means you've got time to nurture. And when it gets to the point where they're thinking about investing some time, money, and energy in, an expert to solve their problem, well, they think of you because they're now on your email list. So lead magnets can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to share mine with you at the end, which is 25 ways to grow your email list for free. So not only is it super practical and helpful, and hopefully you'll all like it if you haven't got it already, but it's also very specific to something that my ideal client is struggling with, and that is building an email list. So I know anyone jumping on my list from a guide about growing an email list wants to get good at email marketing. So therefore, they are an ideal client for me. So yeah, we need to think about constantly growing the list with something of value that we can put out there to capture email addresses. And then the other thing that I like to do with email, which you might not have thought of, those of you who are already doing it, is to segment your list. So earlier I mentioned with Naomi, she might want to segment out, newborn parents and toddler parents. But there's another level to that where you can segment people who click on your emails all the time are warmer than folks who like don't open or don't click. So I tend to send a couple more sales emails to the people who are engaging and clicking because I know that that group of people, they just need me to say the right thing at the right time and they're likely more in than the people who aren't opening and clicking as much. So if you can identify, which you should be able to in your email provider, the most engaged part of your list or people who are clicking a lot, then those people are the ones to reach out to when you want to book in discovery calls or when you have a special offer. So think about sending more emails to the warmest part of your list because they are just waiting for you to say the right thing and then they're ready to take action. Okay, so these are the three things then that we need in place to get leads and sales from an email list. We need a strategic email marketing plan. Strategy is just a fancy word for saying we need to know what we're sending and why. So reverse engineering from what you want to sell and how long you need to warm people up. This week, are you sending a warm-up email or are you sending a sales email? And how are you going to get them to take the next step? So that's what you need on your plan. Then, as we've just mentioned, you need to send consistently so that your emails land in the inbox, not spam, and so that people remember who you are. The other thing that I should have said actually about sending every 6 weeks is it's actually quite a long time, and someone might forget who you are and think, well, who's Kelly Cookson? I didn't sign up for this. And then mark it as spam, which is the worst thing. You don't want people marking your spam. Emails are spam in any kind of volume, otherwise your emails will go into spam. So by regularly every week sending an email, even if they don't open it, all of them, like people don't open all of my emails, but they open a good chunk. But just seeing like Kelly Cookson, Kelly Cookson, Kelly Cookson landing in their inbox, like, oh yeah, Kelly, that's the email marketing person. At least that's what I imagine they say. Or like, not her again, meant to unsubscribe from her emails. No, they don't say that, I'm sure. And then the third thing is you need to actually regularly invite people to buy from you. So, did I ask you how often when you last sent a sales email, or is that my next slide? No, I haven't asked you. Let me know when you last sent a sales email. I couldn't remember where I asked this question. Are you selling to your list, people? Let me know in the chat if you're actually selling. And then I'll run through this one, which is actually my favorite slide of the whole presentation. So you can take a photo of this one if you need some practical tips as a summary. But yeah, let me know when you last sold to your list. I'm selling right now, so that's exciting. I always like to send sales emails and then fingers crossed people buy and you get that little dopamine hit of you've made a sale, which is cool. Because I'm selling my membership at the minute, which is just a click to buy. So I can send the emails and then people buy. So that's always nice. Okay, so some lead generating email top tips. Don't forget to tell subscribers what you do in terms of your service. So I like to drop in, I was working with a client on their lead magnet and we did this thing. So then people are like, oh yeah, Kelly works with people on their lead magnets. So don't forget to either like drop it in casually into the email or just straight up say, I work with people who want XYZ result, or I help people overcome this issue. Like, do you need help with that? So don't forget to tell people what you actually do. I think sometimes we can fall into this trap of, oh, I just need to educate. I just need to nurture. I just need to send a valuable email. Actually, I have this thing if you want to buy it. Like, don't forget to tell them. Don't surprise them. So what I mean by that is if you're about to sell something, we don't just want to like zoom in and start selling without having maybe warm people up. So I tend to tell people that I'm going to be opening the doors to a program or a membership again, or I'm going to have some space for new one-to-one clients. So you can sort of tease what's coming up and that you might be launching, or if you're creating something new, rather than keeping it a secret and then going, oh, well, that's a new thing. And everyone's like, wait, what? What is this? You want to like warm people up as much as possible. Don't fall into the trap of just giving free information. So I've just said that, but yeah, you need to be valuable, but we're not just all about the value. Like we're here to run a business as well. And remember that selling is a service. So if you don't ask people to buy your thing, they're not going to get the benefit of that support. And not everyone sees every email. You have to repeat yourself. So, I sent an email yesterday that 40% of people opened, 60% of people didn't open it. But some of that 60% will open today's sales email that didn't open yesterday. So I am repeating my sales call to action over the next few days where I'm selling. And I will repeat those core messages that we talked about under content pillars in the first set of slides. So that if people missed it in last week's email, they get a chance to see it again next week. So they don't see all the emails. You've got to repeat yourself a bit and repeat yourself definitely when you're selling. And then think carefully about how you're asking the reader to take action. So with your email and when you sit down to write your plan, you might be thinking, what's the objective of this email? Kelly wants me to say, what is the objective of this email? Is it to get somebody to reply? Is it to get them to click at a sales page? Is it to get them to book a call? Is it to get them to read your Substack? Is it to get them to listen to your podcast episode? If you have that clear objective in mind, then you can be really clear on how you're asking the reader to do that thing. So I tend to, if I've got, a significant thing that I want people to do, like buy something, in that email, all roads will point to them getting to buy the thing. I don't then throw in like a blog and an Instagram post and a link to this and a link to that. It's all like, just go and click on this sales page. Like that's what I want people to do. Um, so make it really easy for people to take the next step, either by clicking or replying, and tell them what you want them to do. So if you're asking people to book a discovery call with you, be really clear about what that call involves, how they can book it, make the link really clear. You also can't mention the thing that you want them to do just once. And when it comes to selling, that might feel awkward. That's normally the pushback that I get is like, look, you got to sell every day, like sell every day for a week. You've been warming your email list up. Let's go, keep selling. Oh, what if people hate it? Well, they won't if like they're the right people on the list and you've got something that's worthwhile, which you all have, your service, and you've been warming people up. So it might feel a bit awkward, especially maybe at the beginning of a sale if sales are a bit slow or you don't get any sales. People buy at the end. Like I know that on Thursday when my offer ends, because I did this the other month. And in the last hour, I got more sales, I think, in that last hour than like the 48 hours before. So if I hadn't sent that last hour email, I wouldn't have made all those sales. So you need to keep repeating yourself and asking people to take the next step. Now, the last bullet is my favorite bullet. One clear call to action for one destination repeated 3 times. So what I mean by this is in your email, if you want someone to visit your sales page or your Substack or your podcast or whatever, you're going to link to it once at the top of the email, once in the middle, and then once again as a PS. So the same place, link out to it 3 times and just see what that does to your click rate. Sometimes if my emails are a little bit longer, I might have even 4 links in there. Go wild. But I always do a PS because that normally gets a lot of clicks. Right, I'm going to check the chat because I think you're answering my question about selling. Katie, yes, selling. An email about the season, maybe a tip, sharing any problems, and then email about sales, how to get involved or book. Okay, good. Emily has a regular call to action, initial call, footer. Yes, footer on the emails. Not sure when I last sent a specific sales email. That's why I'm here. I remember you from Gemma Gilbert's group. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so the thing with footers are, I think, I mean, you should always be looking at where clicks are coming from. Some email providers give you like a heat map so you can see, like MailerLite does this, where you can see where they clicked. So if you had 3 emails, 3 links to book a call, you could see which link was most popular in that email. So it's worth looking through your stats and just see if anyone's clicking on that core footer call to action in the footer. What sometimes happens is people get like it's almost like a pattern repeat blindness where if you've got the same footer on your email every single week, it's like they stop seeing it. So it's worth, if you want to book calls, I would do a specific email or 3 emails over the course of 5 to 7 days asking people to book a call. You'll get more call bookings that way, I reckon. Emma last sold a couple of weeks ago, inviting client mailing lists to register for their annual conference. That's good. These email are always 100% event information, probably a bit boring. Yeah, see if you can judge it up a little bit. I mean, sometimes with things when you want people to take an action, you've got to be really clear on what that action is, but you can sprinkle a lot of personality in the copy around that, asking them to take action. Like I'll try and do that with my tone of voice, where I'll say things that I would say as if I was just talking to you, on the phone or in the person or whatever. I'll try and write how I talk and not over edit myself too much. Oh, here we go. This is what I've already asked you this. Yeah, so thank you. You've already answered my question. Right, I think we've got time for Q&A. Oh, yes, just my little pep talk to say email marketing can be so rewarding because you can see exactly who's clicking and send more emails to people who are clicking. And then, unlike social media, where they really don't want you sending people out of the platform onto sales pages or call booking pages or whatever, email, like, it's your thing. You can send them wherever you like. So, I love sending people off to sales page and actually getting the traffic. Whereas when I sell on Instagram, it's just so hard because they know that you're selling and I feel like they just throttle your reach. When you've got a plan, it is much easier and enjoyable to do. So again, don't go bonkers with some kind of crazy color coded plan. Like mine's just one page Google Doc where I just split the month into weeks and think, what am I selling and when? What warming up do I need to do? So I just keep it really simple. You can do a lot with a small list. So when I started my list, obviously it was zero back in January 2020. And then I grew it organically. Like it's only in the last 18 months I've had a little bit of budget for ads. So it's all been organic to this point. But I think I had about 250 people on my list when I sold my first group program. And because it was a list of people that were all interested in email marketing, it worked really well. So I got sales from it. So you don't need to have a massive list to get results from it. And you can be yourself. Like I said earlier, I send stuff to my list that I wouldn't want to necessarily put on social media. And ironically, there's more people seeing it on the email list. But I guess because it's not out there as a public forum where people can comment and like jump on it and have a mass discussion around it, like it's more private. So I don't know. I like to be myself a little bit more on email, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to pop my freebie in the chat and then we can do Q&A because we've got about 10 minutes left. So that's good. I'll drop my 25 ways to grow your email list for free in the chat and you can download that. Also, I've got a thing on in June. I run email writing hours inside my membership, which Faye is a member of. And I've got some free passes. If anyone wants to come to a session on the 2nd of June or the 9th of June, I've got a little form if you want to pop your name and email in that. You can come along and write an email with me for an hour, get some accountability, and I'll give you one of my templates if you would like one as well. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing and stick the links in the chat if that's okay, Faye, and then we'll do Q&A.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and what I'd just like to say, if anyone's had their camera off, which is obviously absolutely fine, if we could see your faces for one moment, it's always nice for Kelly. And Kelly, that was absolutely gorgeous. What I will do is I'll stop recording because I always think that questions people might not want other people to hear that aren't live on the